Hello everyone, let's talk about uh, an easy problem on Leetcode today. Leetcode 21 merge to sorted lists. It says that given the heads of two sorted linked lists, list 1 and list 2, return one sorted list as an output, and the list should be made in such a way that we are splicing the list to splicing the nodes of the first two lists. Splicing means like interweaving, that is like pick one node from one and another node from another and just merge the two lists together, um, and return the head of the merged linked list. So again, this is an easy problem in the sense that generally covered in the screening rounds, but it does have some edge cases, and that's what we will be covering. So then they gave some examples like list 1 is 1 to 4 and then list 2 is 1 3 4. And when we merge we get like 1 1 because that's the sorted order. 2 3 4 4. So I think this is one output. If the lists are empty, we return an empty output, and if one of the lists is empty and another one has one value, this is 0, we return the one value as a list. So those are like easy examples. Now let's jump into the solution space. Now that we have understood the problem, let's think about how we can solve this problem. So I think generally solving the list problems involves traversing the list, and because it's a singly linked list, we cannot go back. So we have to somehow take care of the pointers accordingly. And well, like let's assume that the list 2 was empty. In this case, we will only have 1 to 4 as a list. So basically what we have to do is like we have to um, uh, we have to compare the values in the two lists and then start adding it to the new list. So one of the clean tricks that I've seen people using is something called like a dummy node. So what we do in this case is we create a new dummy node so that we don't have to worry about whether the list is empty or not, and those kind of edge cases. We just insert the value in the list because we know that the list already exists. So what we will do is like at each point we will just check the value in list P and list Q. I'm just denoting that list 1 with P and list um, 2 as what you say Q as a current pointer, and then we will iterate through both the list till either of the lists actually becomes empty. We will take two pointers P and Q, compare the values, and whichever is the smaller value we will just insert into the list, into the new list where we already have a dummy pointer, uh, and um, and then continue till the end of the loop. So let's look at the example. I think it will become clear that way. So first thing we have to check is like if p dot value is less than q dot value and answer is false, they are technically equal, so they are not less. So in this case we can pick either of them, but because I am just focusing on the what you say exact less than value, we choose the green node in this case. So I'm just attaching it here and then move the q pointer to 2. Then what we will do is like again we will compare is p dot val less than q dot val, and this time it's true because 2 is less than 1. So what we will do is like we will pick up 1 and then insert it into the new list, or connect the pointer of new list, that is r, to p. Then we had shifted the p pointer now to 2, and again we compare p dot val to q dot val, and we pick up the green 2 in this case, but again we could have picked up either in and we attach it to the list. This time we get p dot val, which is 2 is less than 3, and the answer is yes, so we will again attach 2 to the list. Then we have again 3 coming into the q will be at 3 and p is at 4. So this time again the value is false, and this time we would only pick up the value from the list q, because, or list 2, because 3 is strictly what you say less than p. So in this case, we couldn't have picked up the orange one. So yeah, just we picked up the green one. Finally, we reach to the point of the end of P, where we see P dot well is less than Q dot well. So we again pick that one, and then we just add it to the list. And then we are kind of done with the list one, where now P is set to null. Now it becomes interesting case because one of the lists is empty. And if you remember, one of the initial conditions we talked about was when one of the lists is empty, we just pick up that list as an pick up that list as an answer, right? So in this case also, because there's no value to compare between the two lists, we will just simply pick up the value from list 2 and attach it to the end of the third list that we are creating. So 4 will now point to 7. And suppose it had more nodes in it, like say 9, uh, or, or suppose it had one more here, say um, 10 and everything. So we will just do this operation once from 4 to Q, and now we still have the remaining list as addition to the third list that we are creating. And that's it. And then we are done with this approach. I think there's also one more problem in Leetcode, where they talk about merging k sorted list, and I think the idea will be similar there. What I was also thinking is, like, we can use something called like a min heap, pick up the again have a bunch of pointers like p, q, r, s, t, I mean, depending on how many lists we have, and just pick up the like the value from each point of the list, add it to the min heap, and pick up the minimum value, and start attaching it to the dummy or the third list. And that will be one of the solutions. And we could have also used min heap here, but because there are only two lists, we don't have to use any extra data structure, or because min heap will also require some extra space, but here I think we don't require any extra space at all. Another thing to keep in mind is that sometimes interviewers prefer immutability in the code. So in the example here, we are reusing the node here, like the, for example, green and orange nodes as is. But but many a times, and this is totally fine, because lead code says that we can actually splice the list, and that means intertwine the list and reuse the values. So lead code is totally fine. But it's good to check with the interviewers, because they prefer immutability. And in that case, what we have to just do is, like, we create a new node with the copied value from the different list, in this case list 1 or list 2, uh, and uh, and just continue with the pointers and handle the edge cases accordingly. Most of the code will still stay similar, and of course we will be covering both the examples. Now let's jump into the code part. Now, I think once we have understood the concept, I think coding it shouldn't be that hard. So what we have to do is, like, first thing we have to do is, like, create a new list. In this case, we can call it list 3, and we will be connecting it to the, or pointing it to the dummy node, say with value 0. So it will be not part of the list. We will see how you will do it. And then we will just create a new pointer r equal to list 3, right? Now our loop starts. So first thing we will do is, like, while uh, so what we will do is, like, we can say that um, let list node p is equal to list 1, and q is equal to list 2. So now I think what you have to do is, like, if while p not equal to null and q not equal to null, I think that's the only time we will just need the value comparison, right? So for that reason, I want to make sure that if in any case we reach in the case we have the value from both the lists, that then only we compare. So we will just do that p dot val is less than q dot val. Then we will just say r is equal to sorry, r dot next is equal to p, and p is equal to p dot next. So else we have to do the same thing with q, right? So we will do r dot next is equal to p sorry, q, and q is equal to q dot next. And in any case, we have to do r is equal to r dot next because we have to now add the next value to the next pointer, right? So that's it. And now suppose p got empty or q got empty. We don't know, right? So what we will do is like we will set remaining r dot next to equal to, so suppose if p is equal to null, that means q is still remaining. So we will just do attach q to the list, or and otherwise we will just attach, if p is not null, we will just attach p to the list, and eventually what we will return is list 3 dot next, because first node was dummy pointer. So that's what I meant, like we can just start attaching without having to worry whether our head is null or not, and those kind of cases. I hope this solution made sense to you, but let's try to now run it, like if it really works. Awesome. Yeah. So this was accepted from Leetcode. Uh, and coming to the immutability part, I think the way we are creating is not immutable because we are changing the existing, like we are pointing to the existing nodes rather than creating our own. So what we can also do, like if programmer is very peculiar about immutability, in this case, what we could have done is like we could have said like r dot next is equal to new list node, and value should be p dot well, right? And p dot next is what you say, p is equal to p dot next. I think that we will anyways need, similarly here we would have done list node q dot well, and then eventually we move the two pointers, and eventually if we check if while p is null, we will just attach q to the yeah. So again we have to do the same thing here, like while p not equal to null, right? We will do p equal to p dot next, but before that what we will do is we will just attach r dot next, and similarly if we do the same thing for q as well, right? Because we don't know which one of them is empty, and we will do the same thing. If q is not equal to null, then we will just do q is equal to q dot well, and similarly we update the pointers, and that's it. I think this should also work, hopefully. There's some problem because I'm yeah, not using new somewhere. Where is this point? R dot next is equal to, yeah, here it is. So hopefully this time it works. So I think at one point I'm just missing one of the values, and it says that my output was minus 93 and minus 937. Okay, so I will pick both the lists from here, and then I will reach the end of the list, and then I will again do the same thing here where I will where I will just attach the value here. So in this case, because I'm doing this I should have removed from the previous code. Okay, I'm again missing the value here. So what am I doing wrong? So what I'm missing is the value 5 in this case. So if p so initially let's go through the list. So minus 9 is the initial value, and while p not equal to null and q not equal to null. I think that will be true in this case. So we will pick up -9, then we will pick up 3 from the same list, and that list is over now. Then we come out of the loop, and initially q is equal to list 2. So we will see if q not equal to null, we will just say r dot next is equal to new list node, right? And this will be equal to 5 in this case, but for some reason 5 is skipped. So I think, okay, I got the issue. I think the most probably the issue is that yeah, I have to also uh, move the R pointer, right? Because I can't take the liberty of having like just connecting a list as is, because now the code has to be immutable. And let's see, hopefully this time it fixes the issue. Awesome. Yeah, this works. But mind you, I think the first solution was what Leetcode was expecting, because we are technically splicing the list there. Here also we are interweaving the list, but I think this takes extra space as well, because but this one is immutable. So always check with the programmer, and that's it, folks. I hope you like the solution. Sorry for the longer video this time. I'll try to keep it smaller. And please do share and subscribe. Have a nice day.